You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of GHS-TV's award-winning talk show, Crosstalk. I'm your host, Jamaia Chase. Each week in this time slot, we take a look at different issues, personalities, and events that affect you and our community. Studies have shown that 4-year-olds gain from being in a high-quality early learning setting. These skills that these children learn set a foundation that allows them to better build on their learning and knowledge through school and into adulthood. This week, we are focusing on 3 types of early education learning. Here with us first to talk about early childhood education systems in Shelby County Schools is Devlin Gordon, the Executive Director of Early Childhood Programs. Ms. Gordon, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Pre-K is such an important topic right now, both in Tennessee and in Shelby County. Can you tell us about the Pre-K program in SCS?
Yes, in Shelby County Schools, we have a total of 291 classrooms. Currently, our funding comes from the Memphis, the local government, which is through the First Aid. We recently acquired the funds through First Aid this year because the PDG grant ran out that was through Vanderbilt and Tennessee. We have our voluntary pre-K classrooms, and then we also have the Head Start grant through the federal government. We have over 5,600 children in our classrooms. We have various partners. Port Elite Head Start is also one of our collaborative partners that provide with the wraparound services and the social service aspect of the program for the children.
Well, what is the difference between Pre-K and Head Start, which SCS also provides?
The difference between Pre-K and Head Start is not a whole lot of difference. We offer the same curriculum. We offer the same processes, the wraparound services, all the components. The difference is the Head Start teachers, they're not certified they're not required to be certified. But we offer the same services, the same wraparound programs. We support our families just as well as Port Elite does with Head Start.
How can parents enroll their students in Pre-K or Head Start?
Well, there's been a lot of confusion on when this process starts. We normally try to start earlier in the year. Last year, the process began in March. This year, the same thing, we will start again to enroll students in March 2020, but we're still currently enrolling and screening now. Since school has begun, we're still enrolling students. We will screen once a month. If parents are interested in the information, they can look on the Pre-K website on the Shelby County Schools webpage, and it'll give them a link on if they wanted to ask questions about the program. They also will receive those dates that screening will be, and then also what are the required documentations that they will need to bring with them on the recruitment time, during the recruitment time.
Are Pre-K classes offered at every elementary school?
Not every elementary school. We have 77 schools that we partner with, and those schools are normally in our high poverty areas. So you'll find schools in North Memphis, South Memphis, Southeast Memphis, and also since Cordova is transitioning, we've now put some sites in schools, some classes in the Cordova area as well.
Well, what all can the students learn in Pre-K?
Oh, everything. Of course, we know Pre-K is where the journey begins. Students get acclimated to a structured school process. Of course, they'll be transitioning from either being at home or being in a daycare center, so it's a more structured day. They have a curriculum, which we use Big Day. Curriculum, also there are standards that the students must learn. It is truly the time when students get acclimated to the process of understanding foundational skills in English and in math. And so they really get acclimated to what it looks like to be in, of course, in the term of a Pre-K, in big girl, big boy school.
Well, how do you ensure that they are prepared for kindergarten?
The pre-K teachers have a progress monitoring report that they follow. Just like a kindergarten teacher, there is a progress report and there is a report card. Also, there's a pacing guide that we provide for all the pre-K teachers that is aligned with the curriculum and also aligned with the pre-K standards. So the teachers follow pace. They understand exactly what skills, what standards need to be taught with each unit included in the big day, and also aligned with the Tennessee Department of Education standards for early childhood education in pre-K.
Why is pre-K vital for young students?
Pre-K is very vital. Like I said before, it's where the journey began. Parents get to understand truly what their roles are as their child's first teacher. They get acclimated to the process of what school is going to look like. We are working with parents, supporting them and helping them to understand what their roles are and how to truly advocate for their children, but also the children begin to receive those foundational skills. Of course, with Jamaia School's priority number one, which is the early literacy, which is the beginning of the process for students to truly become fluent readers. So they're gaining all of those necessary foundational skills when it comes to phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, and also understanding what it looks like to begin to become an early reader, and also start those processes of how do I comprehend and how do I articulate what I'm understanding and what I know.
How does the pre-K programs benefit the communities as well?
Well, we look at it as an investment. We invest in the children, and in turn the children get a solid education. They go on, hopefully they become productive citizens. In turn, they get to put back into the school and into their communities that they're living in.
Ms. Gordon, how does the SES Early Childhood Program stand out from the rest?
One, I'm the director. But two, we really focus on the whole family. We look at the children's needs, the family's needs. We're supporting the whole child, social and emotionally, health-wise. With the wraparound services, we provide children with health screenings. We identify those particular deficits that they may have, or health or health issues that they may have, and we provide them with those necessary supports. We connect with the special education department within the district. So if there's some additional educational services that those students need, we try to make sure that we get a hold on to those very early on, educating the parents and getting them to understand what it's now going to look like with those additional services, but also just making sure that the children understand what school is like, the parents have expectations and receive the services that they're going to need to educate, and to make sure that we're truly addressing the whole child and supporting the family in getting them acclimated to school.
Well, can you tell us about the many different opportunities that are offered in the early childhood programs?
Well, a lot of parents don't know, we do offer a 3-year-old service as well, but we have limited spaces. But there are a lot of children who can start the process early on. They are in the program for 2 years, which is a true investment, because now this child has been with us for 2 years. They truly have been engrossed and ingrained in the foundations of early childhood development. There are the wraparound services, like I spoke about before, that deals with the social and emotional and all of the health concerns. We have the educational piece. This year we're really pushing, trying to make sure that we prepare students so when they leave us and they're ready for CLU, that they are accessed and we place them in those additional enrichment services that may be needed. Because as we know, being in a program for 2 years, many of them are going to leave the program ahead of their peers in kindergarten. So we really try to offer a comprehensive program. We have the policy council, where we have parents who actually serve on the policy council board, making decisions, supporting the day-to-day operations, and giving us insight on what it's going to look like for the students for that school term. So we really try to make it a comprehensive program involving every stakeholder, especially the parents, because they have a voice and they understand better on what it looks like on their end than we can tell them from the experience.
Well, Ms. Gordon, thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you for having me.
When we return, we will explore a different approach with childhood learning.
It's very fun to be in band, trust me. It's so much fun.
When I was an 8th grader and I saw them march and I was like, wow, I need to be a part of this.
Our main performing group is the varsity band. That encompasses our marching band and our varsity concert band. We also have the jazz ensemble.
It's unique, so we're really lucky to have that.
I'm very methodical about teaching. I try to stay up to date because I want my students to have the best information that I can pass along to them.
He's excellent. He commands a sort of drive that we didn't exactly have.
I lead the class, but I also believe in the students self-assessing their work.
The leadership is led by the students. We lead most of the practices. It's basically just student-led.
And I think it's important for them to take that kind of ownership.
If you want to be a musician, you gain extremely important music skills, music techniques.
1, 2, 3.
There's so many opportunities for fellowship, and band is a family. And you develop that small community where you support each other, not only musically, but in many ways.
Really, without the band, the football games would be lame. Without the band, you wouldn't really have the pep rallies. The band is like a good foundation for the school spirit. If you want to join band, just do it.
I think band was the best part of my high school career.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. A Montessori education is based on self-directed activity, hands-on learning, and collaborative play. To talk more about this early educational approach, I'm joined by Maria Cole, head of the Maria Montessori School in Memphis. Ms. Cole, thank you for joining us today.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Can you explain the method of Montessori teaching?
The method is based upon the children and the natural development of children from birth to adulthood. We group our children in age groups of 3-year cycles, basically. It is based upon the inherent interest of the child to be able to answer that with the prepared environment, with the materials that we use, freedom and discipline, what we call practical life, or just daily habits of how we care for ourselves, care for the environment, and care for the other children in the classroom.
Well, who was Maria Montessori and how did she come up with this method?
Maria Montessori was an first Italian doctor out of Rome. And she observed children for over 20 years, and from her observations, she developed a theory or a philosophy and an approach towards children. And it was quite revolutionary in the time, and she developed the classroom with the small seats and the practical life. Again, just the basic, there's a story of her working in the slums of Rome, and one of the first things she taught the children to do was to wash their hands and blow their nose and to be independent. And basically that was one of the, especially the younger children, the 3 to 6, we say that their desires to help me to do it myself. And that's what we do for the younger children, to foster independence and also to foster that curiosity and that love for learning.
Well, you have 4 environments at your school. Can you describe them?
I will. We begin at toddler, and that age is from 18 months to age 3. And that environment's all about kind of their first experience at being with children their age and being away from home for most. So it is an environment of a lot of socialization, a lot of giving the words to express maybe what they're wanting to say to their classmates, a lot of community meals, and a lot of time in practicing toiletry habits, and basically getting them to a point where they can move to the next level, which is 3 to 6, once they are potty trained for the most part. So then the 3 to 6 is an environment of the younger and the older. The children return every year, so they come with a wealth of information from the year before that, and then we add new from the youngest. And so the older children act as mentors or teachers to the younger children, and the younger children look to them as role models. And again, it's the hands-on didactic materials. The older children, the 5 and 6-year-olds, their day is longer so that we can get more into the academics, and the classroom size is smaller. Classroom size generally will be between 24 to 30 students, and that makes for a nice balance in ages. And then we have the 6 to 9, which at that point they are moving on to wanting bigger questions. In primary we say is, what is this? And then in elementary it's like, why is this? We want to know everything about everything. And again, it's the mixed age groups. And again, we have the didactic hands-on material for all the disciplines. And then 9 to 12, the materials become less important, but they're there. And then they move into more of a research-based, looking deeply and delving into the things that they've learned in those first 6 to 9 years. And then we are fortunate enough to have what we call a middle school program, and it is the ages 7th and 8th grade. It's a 2-year program. It's still Montessori based, but the students, the young adults are meeting deadlines. It's very project oriented, but they're still out in the community serving and getting to know their own personal community. So,
what are some of the specific things that the children learn in the toddler community?
The beginning of independence, how to keep track of their belongings, how to hang their coat on a hook or put things in their cubby, how to eat, how to use eating utensils. They even set a place for their classmates. They set their own table, how to set their table, communicating with their friends, keeping their hands to themselves, respecting their neighbor by watching them work and then asking for their turn, even just gathering them up to take a walk and not losing anyone. And they learn to love their school, they learn to love their classmates, and they definitely love the adults that they spend their day with. So.
Well, some of the students in your program described your school as different and fun. How do you make the students comfortable with learning?
Oh, they can't help it. The environments are so beautiful and the materials are so enticing. And the day is designed to where it's an uninterrupted work cycle that we're required by the AMI, which is our accrediting that Maria Montessori set herself up. It's an internationally recognized accreditation process. But they can do something as long as they want to do. The day is theirs, but the limits are what you've been introduced. We give lessons, and you can do anything as long as you've had a lesson. You can choose your friend to do it with. You can repeat it as many times, which is something that's innate, especially into 3 to 6-year-olds. They love to do it again. You'll quite often hear them say, again, again. So and it's a beautiful place. We are very blessed to be where we are. We're in between the Mississippi River and the harbor, and we have beautiful gardens and beautiful classrooms, lots of windows. It's just a very bright and happy place to be. So.
Well, Ms. Cole, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Don't go away. When we come back, we will get to know a nationally acclaimed private preschool and daycare with 2 locations in the Memphis area.
Art is really an expression of the self. If you look at a piece of art, you can see the artist within it.
All just really depends on what I feel like doing at the time. I generally have different ideas every day.
I really get excited when my students come up to me with unique ideas that I've not heard of.
You can't let everybody tell you who you are or what your art is or how to be what you want to be.
I really let the students go according to how their progressing, and I try to give them as much as they're able to handle.
Well, I like drawing a lot, and I like painting, and I like being able to improve my skill and show people my art.
I try to get them to think creatively. I think that's one of the few things that we as teachers really need to try to push with our students.
I can't sing. I can't act either, but I can do art, so that's why I chose art.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit GHSKappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. I'm your host, Jamaia Chase. This week, we are discussing teaching philosophies to help pre-K students get ready for kindergarten. The Goddard School delivers a high-quality play-based learning program to families in Collierville. Kathy Jo Matson is the school's owner. She joins us now. Ms. Matson, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Can you tell us about your learning philosophy at the Goddard School?
I'd love to. We were founded more than 30 years ago, and we have on-site owners at every school. And basically, our approach, it's called the Flex Learning Program because we very much have degreed teachers that are individualizing the teaching to each and every student. We have infants through 5-year-olds. We get them ready for kindergarten, and it's very much a hands-on learning through play comprehensive curriculum. We teach across those core learning domains, language and literacy, cognitive math, science, social science, the arts, creative arts, gross and fine motor skills, and all in a very hands-on, child-focused way.
What is the age range at your school?
We have infants as young as 6 weeks of age through pre-K, so they turn 5 and then they go on to public or private kindergartens from us.
Well, you offer many different programs at your school. Can you tell us about some of them?
Yes, we have we have about 12 classrooms. So we have our young infants, our older infants. We have our toddler programs. We have our Get Set programs, those 2-year-olds learning potty training and getting ready for preschool. We have our 3-year-old preschool program and our 4-year-old pre-K, junior K programs. So we have, we're kind of a hybrid of the best teaching techniques. You recently interviewed someone from Montessori. We have a lot of Montessori type techniques. We also flex and individualize the lesson plans that our teachers write every day, a week ahead of time, so they can really track each child and how they're developing across those learning developmental goals every day, every week, year round. So our program overall is a flex hands-on learning through play program, but then we have classrooms by tighter age groups.
Ms. Matson, how do you ensure that the children have everything that they need to succeed?
Well, we have wonderfully, we have a lot of high quality checks and balances in place. We have 3 on-site directors, so we have an education director dedicated to reading and reviewing and coaching teachers, reading the lesson plans. We have a quality assurance director who is constantly looking at best practices and teaching and mentoring, and from everything from your 19-step diaper changing procedure to supervision to how they're cleaning and disinfecting tabletops, anything health and safety. And we have an operational person as well, and we have 2 on-site owners, my husband and I. So there's a lot of things in place to make sure that daily, weekly, and monthly standards are being met all the time.
Is the learning environment at the Collierville location different from other Goddard School locations?
I think everyone has their local spin, but what I like about Goddard is there's very much a minimum high quality standard. So across 500 schools in the country, you should be able to get a top-notch early childhood quality experience wherever you go. We all have that same flex approach to learning. There's going to be nuances. You know, we've added a lot of foreign language programs over the years. The longer you've been around, the more programs you can add, the things you can tweak. But in general, I think we all meet a minimum high quality standard across how we teach education, and we have a lot of things in common from that standpoint. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Okay. Can you talk about your involvement with the community as well?
Oh, always looking to increase that. We have wonderful partnerships with the town of Collierville, with other Shelby County. So we're bringing in special visitors. Every month we have the fire safety program that we're involved with. We started recently working with some of the robotics clubs in the elementary schools, where 3rd through 5th graders get to come and show off their robots or sequencing or things, and our 3 to 5-year-olds get to have, older visitors, child age visitors that they look up to. We are involved with different, vets and doctors and the town of Collierville government entities. So anything that we can bring in the library. We're involved with the University of Memphis and their STEM ambassador program. We look for those partnerships and what is that that benefit, that mutual benefit, where they can, help educate our students and we can maintain and provide unique and exciting learning experiences.
Well, how has your early childhood program evolved over the years?
Since we started, I think everyone, we start with your core learning areas. Every day we're teaching across those learning domains I mentioned, math, science, social science, etc. Over the years, we've added our Mandarin program. We teach Mandarin Chinese for ages 2 to 5. They leave going on to kindergarten knowing more Mandarin than Spanish and Sign Language. We've beefed up our Spanish and Sign Language programs. We've really increased our STEAM activities, our short and long-term activities, working with the University of Memphis. We've added chess through storytelling. We've been doing that for several years. So our 3 to 5-year-olds learn stories, and after 20 weeks of learning the pieces, they're playing chess. So that's just a few of the programs we've added over the years that are optional, but we're always looking for, if it makes sense, if it's fun, it's new, exciting, we want to try it and bring it on and keep it if it's working well and meeting the children's interests.
Ms. Matson, it was a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, thank you to all my guests on today's show. Early childhood education is so important right now, as children are expected to know more by the time they get to kindergarten. I hope this show helps shed more light on the matter. For more information on our programming, please check us out on the web at GHS-TV.org, where we are streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Jamaia Chase. From all of us at GHS-TV, thank you for watching Crosstalk, and I hope to see you again.